Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cosmic Reach Really Big Bridge contest. It's not really a contest, it's more of just a little challenge to build a bridge. And we're going to start with .3DZ's bridge. He posted it a while back. He was the very first one to post one. And as you can see, it is an extremely big bridge. Now, I can see it being bigger. It's not really insane or anything. It's not hard to believe that this exists. Honestly, when I look down on it from the top side, it looks like an actual freeway or interstate or whatever they're called where you're at. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lanes. So it's an 8-lane highway. I'm not sure if those even really exist in the United States. So in that case, it is very big. And it looks like we've got a green sign right there, but it doesn't have anything on it. It has some glowy material on the bottom. And then this side of the bridge has an empty sign. If I switch it to dark night, you can't see anything on the bridge, which is a problem. There's no street lamps or anything. I thought that these white blocks were lamps, but I guess I was mistaken. They're actually snow blocks. There are some lamps underneath the sign so you can see what the sign says, but that's not enough for the vehicles that are going to be driving down this road. How am I supposed to see if I'm cruising down the interstates and it's, pitch dark, so it's midnight? I'd just get in a wreck pretty much right away. If we look at the side of the bridge, we have these dominoes. I'm not sure why there are dominoes here. You can't really... in the game so far, there's no way to knock down dominoes. And also these dominoes don't have any dots on them. Usually dominoes have, different numbered dots, but these ones don't. So it looks like the manufacturer just kind of forgot to put those on. So not a good impression right off the bat, just because it seems like something you'd find in real life. It's not absurdly big or anything. It has these massive pillars going up and down, but honestly they're not that creative. There's not much design to them. There's no lights either below the bridge or above the bridge. If there were monsters spawning in this game, you'd get all kinds of monsters on the grass below. And there's nothing that this bridge is going over either. It's not really helping with anything. There's no water, there's no obstacles, no nothing. It kind of just exists just to exist. You've also got cheese on the side of the roads. I'm not sure who's been throwing cheese out the window, but that's probably not great. They should have somebody shovel that and clean it up a little bit. And then in the center of the road, you've got sand. I'm not sure why that's there. I think if a car was to run into that, it would kind of fluff it up a little bit, throw it all over the place. And if there's heavy winds, you can imagine that's kind of rolling off into the streets. So all in all, not very impressed. It looks like part of it's missing. There's no companies or anything that decided to rent out that sign there, so I guess commerce is a little bit low in this area. There's not much economic stimulation going on. You've got this sign, which is rented, I suppose, but they forgot to put something on it. So not too interesting. I guess I like how it's an 8-lane highway. That's pretty cool. You don't see those in real life. But again, it's just kind of bland and it could be a lot better. So .3DZ, good job with the attempt, nice effort, but overall I'm going to have to pass on this one. Next up we have Average Calamity Mod Enjoyer's submission, who posted, let's see, what is this called again if I go back to my world listings? Big Ah Bridge. So here's the Big Ah Bridge. Again, it's not really going over anything, there's no point for this bridge to exist. If I switch over to Dark Night, at least it's lit up, so that's a plus. We'll go back to Space Day, and if I break into here, I wonder if there's something inside. No, it's just a tunnel. So I suppose that's kind of nice. If you want to take a tunnel instead of being outside in the rain, you can walk all the way down. I don't think this is wide enough for a vehicle to fit in. Maybe if this took inspiration from Elon Musk's boring company, where you have that boring tunnel that's just a tunnel through the earth for vehicles. I don't think those are really actively being used yet too much. But this might be an investment in the future if you're thinking about it that way. But overall, yeah, it's just metal blocks with lamps. So I'm going to have to say that this is even worse than the last one. At least the last one had a little bit of spirit to it, a little bit of effort. This one kind of just looks like a world edit thing. I guess a second point I can give to it, well, so far I've got 2 points on it. I've got the lights and I've got the boring innovation. And the last point is that I have to give him a hand for making it super long. It's not thick, it's not width, though the width isn't there quite yet. Like I said, I don't think a car could fit in here, but maybe on top it could, if you think about a car being 4 blocks wide. And in terms of just sheer length, it just keeps going and going and going. I'm not even going to get to the end of it, it goes so far. But overall, I'd say this is worse than the last one. Good try, but yeah, I'd throw this in the in the garbage. On to the next one. This is Sir Ninja Monkey's bridge, and it's called, let's see, what is it called? It's called Really Bigger Bridge, and if we turn around, oh, okay, alright. So we've got some actual design going on here. Let's change it to Dark Night, and you can see we've got the yellow lamps. I like the yellow lamps because they remind me of tortellini soup. If you know from my pre-alpha world, I've got the yellow lamps that indicate soup broth. So this is always a plus. If we go back to Space Day, we can clearly see that this bridge has been damaged. Now, before I talk about the damage and the leaves and everything, I'm going to talk about the rest of the bridge. So this does feel like a very big bridge. It feels thick and girthy. But once again, there's not much design to it. You got some arches, so this thing looks pretty architecturally sound, like it's not going to break. The road here isn't going to fall through or anything. It looks structurally sound enough. If you're on top of the bridge, there's no lanes or anything, which is pretty lame. There's really nothing to it. It's just a bunch of cobblestone or basalt or whatever this block is. We need tooltips in this game so I can figure out what these blocks are actually called. I could look in the mods folder, but that's not really acceptable. I like the destruction. I'm not sure if this was done with C4 or if it was just done by hand, but it's pretty nice. It looks realistic, like this bridge was blown up in some war, and then it was left for a long time. Maybe it was in the middle of a battle zone, and then the vegetation kind of took over and started growing on the edges. I'm not sure what the yellow lamps are supposed to represent, but they are really cool. I like how they're just floating all over the place. I think it'd be cool to see a parkour map like this, where you just have single blocks everywhere, where you just jump from block to block, and you can see the vegetation growing off the sides and kind of hanging down. Very nice. It reminds me of those old adventure maps in Minecraft from back in the day. Those huge structures that, honestly, I don't even know. I don't know. Just big structures that have vegetation growing off them. I don't know why I thought of adventure maps in Minecraft. Once again, it doesn't serve much of a purpose. You're not really bridging over anything. There's no water, there's no houses, no nothing down here. So the bridge itself doesn't serve much of a purpose. Honestly, it kind of looks more like a gate, like just a massive gate into a city. So if that was a big city over there and you had these arches to let people in or let people out, that would be a good use case, but just as a bridge, it's really not that functional. Obviously, it's not functional. There's a massive hole in it. And if we look down in the center here, I've avoided this so far, but we've got a few lamps. I like the design of these. They're vertical slabs and then horizontal slab and then the light slab on top. And you've got a little stone design here, which looks like the design that is on the lamps. So if we look at one of these lamps, we can see that this is the same, it's very close to the design on these lamps. I really like this design, actually. I think this is pretty iconic with the game. But I don't see any real reason why this is here. It doesn't make much sense. So overall, I think this is the, is it the best one so far, or is the first one better? Because that was an actual 8-lane highway. I think the first one and this one are kind of on par, but this one gets more style points, I suppose. Next up, we have Finals Big Bridge, and I think I might need to increase the render distance on this one. Not sure. I'm just going to do it just in case. So this is done on the... Okay, this is looking great so far. This is done on the Nostalgic Islands World Generation, and there's some actual really pretty impressive effort here. I didn't know what adjective to use. We've even got some glowy lights underwater. So let's start at the beginning, because I'm actually pretty interested in seeing this whole thing. So first thing I gotta say right off the bat is that this bridge is actually going over water, and that's a big plus, because when you build a bridge, it costs a lot of money. It's gotta be multi-millions of dollars, tens of millions, perhaps even hundreds of millions of dollars, depending on the size of the bridge. Now, this one's so broken down that it doesn't seem like it's really maintained. It doesn't seem like it would be hundreds of millions of dollars. But still, it does look expensive, and it's actually going over something. If we check out the architecture, we can see all kinds of different blocks that are being used for the support beams. The support beams are only 1 block thick, so you gotta keep that in mind. But that's fine, because honestly, it kind of fits the aesthetic. It fits the aesthetic of a crumbling bridge that hasn't been maintained in a while. I guess these support beams are 3 blocks thick, so it's not as bad as I thought. But you've got these stone bricks, you got the regular stone, you got the cobblestone, you got the leaf blocks or the grass blocks or whatever those are. You've got these semi-randomized holes in the walls. This is kind of a budget bridge. And then you've got some lights under the water. It would be nice in real life if more bridges had lights under the water. I don't think I've actually ever seen that in real life. So interesting design choice, I like it. And you can see that the lights aren't uniform across every single one. They're kind of randomized. And again, that's another part of this bridge that I really like. I like the randomization of blocks. It really makes it look like a budget bridge, like it's not being maintained, like it's kind of breaking down. The vegetation growing on the support pillars with these grass blocks, just like the last one. And these arches are pretty well made too. They're not perfect arches, but they look architecturally sound. They look like they're realistic. And then on the bottom side of these bridges, you have these red lights, which I really like. I like using red lights for construction areas or just kind of dangerous areas. Another thing you gotta give them points for is that the support beams go all the way down into the water, down to the lowest level. So they don't just stop at the water, they're realistic, they're actually holding everything up. Man, look at this architecture. So you have these slabs, and then you have these little nooks and crannies below the bridge. Again, just the feeling of imperfection, really nice. If we look up top, we've got this black color that a lot of builds don't have yet, because there's really nothing that's pure black in the game. I guess you could use C4 for that black, but that's a little bit dangerous. So he's using lights that are turned off, and he's using snow for the dividing lines. He's got a similar lamppost design as the last map, actually the exact same design as the last map. Interesting to see the same design being used. Actually, Final 4 Each made this map, and he said he got inspiration from Sir Ninja Monkey, and Sir Ninja Monkey is the one from the last map who also used this design. The sides of the bridge are slabs, so you can get up here and walk on them if you want, so it's a little bit pedestrian friendly, but there's no railing on the side. I don't think pedestrians were in mind with this build. If I'm walking down the bridge like this and there's a car coming, I could easily get hit. I could easily fall off. I'm not going to dock him points for that. That's just a thing that I noticed. If we were to drive down the road and turn the HUD off, this is what it would look like. We're going to sprint so we can go at the speed of a normal vehicle. Oh yeah. We're going to go all the way to the end. Nice. If we change it to dark night, we get this look, so you can still see, for the most part. Well, you can kind of see. Maybe there should be a little bit more light. We can just turn these on, I suppose, but that's not really intended for the build. You have these red lights, which cast... Oh, I suppose these aren't red lights. I think they might be orange lights. I like the ambience. This is a non-maintained, kind of dangerous bridge that could collapse at any time. Kind of. And you've got these orangish, reddish lights to indicate that it's a little bit dangerous. It's not exactly your typical bridge. If we look down below, you can see the blue lights under the surface of the water. Pretty nice. You can see the red shining down from above. And if we switch to Earth Day, honestly, I like this the best, this visual. It's mostly just because the what is it called, Fresnel effect and just the texture of the water. I should mention that. I know that the texture of the water changed recently at some point. It looks really nice. And the more we look perpendicular to the water, the less we get that effect. I think that's a really nice little detail too. So great work on this one, Final 4 Each. And we've got one more build. This one's by Curd Flappers. The world is just called World 01. It looks like we're starting out in a blue area. We've got a little office chair, I guess that would be. We've got some shelves with the slabs and some light posts on them. More shelves here, and we've got some benches along the side of the room. We've got a note block here, but let's get to the bridge. I'm not sure why we're looking at this little house area. If we come out here, we can see these these metal lamp posts kind of around just to light everything up. Okay, there's the bridge. So this bridge, okay, so right off the bat, I gotta give points again because the lighting is really interesting here. I like all the different colors. And the other thing is that this bridge is actually going over something again. It's going over this little cobblestone area. I'm going to take a screenshot of that. That's pretty cool. It's going over this crater. And then on one side of the crater, we have a grassy area with a bunch of what looks like my drone lighting, but not quite. Actually, not really at all. It's flipped upside down and it's on the ground. We have another building over there, which I'm not going to go into because that's not part of this bridge building contest. Actually, what the heck? I'll go into it. What have we got? Just a little, yeah, looks like an unfinished outhouse building. I don't know. We have a walkway that goes all the way up the mountain with some stuff up there. I don't think that's part of the... Yeah, I'm not going to go into those buildings anymore because that's not really part of the bridge contest. Looks like we got something up there too. Anyway, this bridge is made out of aluminum, which is a very interesting choice. I like how aluminum was used because there's a lot of whites in aluminum, a lot of grays in aluminum. and so it reflects the different light colors very well. So as you can see, when the blue combines with the aluminum, it reflects blue, and when the red and orange combines with aluminum, it reflects the red and orange. Same with the dark blue over here. If you use different blocks that already have a lot of color, like the grass, you can see how the orange color reflects off the grass and it just looks kind of muddy and brown. So aluminum was a good choice since it's very lit up. And let's take a run across the bridge. So we've got these side posts. Oh, I fell anyway. That was a little bit weird. Let's see, is that a bug? So we can fit in between two slabs if we... Oh, now it's not going. Huh. That was weird. Well, that's a little bug for you if you want to look into that. I wasn't F4'd or anything. It's definitely a bit of a messy bridge. It's not totally uniform everywhere, which I like. I like messy bridges. I don't think they should be perfect, unless it's like a really perfect bridge. And yeah, really simple. At the ends of the bridge, we have these bigger side posts. I don't know what to call this stuff. I'm just using words like side post. And we've got lamps inside those. Same thing on the other side. One problem I can see with this bridge is that it's not a really big bridge. In fact, it's a pretty small bridge, both in width and in height and in just pure girth and chunkiness, I suppose. One architectural detail I haven't mentioned yet is the support pillars at the bottom. These I really like. They're very creative, and they've got these lighting slabs on the sides so that everything below the bridge is also lit up. Overall, very nice. I like it a lot. I like all the different light colors. I like the use of aluminum. I like the messy design of it. I like the architectural pillars on the bottom and at the start and the end. It's not a really big bridge like the challenge indicates. So I'd say this is the second best submission. Maybe the third best after the yellow lighting one. I've got to fly up here and take a screenshot just because it's so interestingly lit. I like taking screenshots. I've taken screenshots every single day that I've played this game of different things, so I'm going to have a whole history of stuff to look back on. And so overall, I think I'm going to have to give it to Final, which seems a little bit weird because he made the game, so it's like I'm kind of being a bit biased. I don't know. It's not really a bias, it's just kind of, You really want to give the victory to the person who made the game? Maybe I should. Alright, you know what? Forget that. We're not giving it to Final. Final, your bridge sucks. Let's go to, let's check really big bridge. What was this? Oh yeah, the yellow lamp one. Okay, you know what? I think we're going to have to give it to this one. This is Sir Ninja Monkey. You won. You won the challenge. Congratulations. I like this bridge a lot. I like how the vegetation drips off the side. It's a lot of detail in this one little area. Obviously, we're lacking detail elsewhere, but don't worry about that. It looks nice and girthy. That's what I was looking for. The middle looks pretty interesting. I like all these little yellow lights all over the place. Again, not really sure what it's supposed to symbolize, but it's pretty cool. And then you have that little area down below, which means literally nothing to me. I have no idea what that's supposed to be, but I don't know. I guess we can say it's cool, just to try to hype up the map a little bit. Alright, thanks everyone for participating. That was pretty cool. I just wanted to do something to get people to build something interesting in the game because I know that things have been stale for just a little while updates roll out. I know he's working on the survival update and there's some work going into multiplayer, so I figured having something to do for people to come together and build something would be kind of fun. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.